So far, the crew has cleared every hurdle naysayers have placed in their way. Columbus would be home to one of the 10 inaugural teams. Columbus has outperformed much larger cities. The true success indicator has been from the fans.
Well, it's boys night out. And don't you know we're gonna scream it?
Joe, welcome to the club. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So, kind of do a quick intro for our listeners of, who you are, your show, and kind of how you fit into, the Red Bull supporters group.
I don't know if I fit into a Red Bull supporters group exactly. My name is Joe Goldstein. I, for a little while, I ran Red Bull's news network. I've transitioned to only doing podcasts, which is a tremendous lift from my shoulders. But I've been podcasting and writing about the Red Bulls for just about the last decade or so. And I do it on a show with Mark Fishigan called Seeing Red. And he's been in the podcast game for even longer. I think this is our 13th season.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
13. Ooh.
That's pretty wild.
And so do you attend all the games? Are you, watching online? How do you, what's your fan experience?
Voraciously consume the games. A lot of times, especially since COVID, I'm not in the stadium anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to fix that this year. I think now is like a good time to start coming out from under the rock. And
Yeah, COVID's gone.
yeah,
I
apparently.
can't find it. It's like they're like, where is it?
Yeah, I need to get back into the stadium more, but right now, still mostly watching online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That Apple TV.
Yeah, and we're still like trying to figure out all the bells and whistles. Yeah, I mean, I like the replay functionality. Like afterward, if we want to rewatch or see something again, it's I don't know if I just perceive it this way, but you can do it. You can go and very easily just jump back in.
Well,
and watch
I don't love their UI for where that's located, but they'll get there.
It's just at the very bottom, the bottom left, and then you have to click and hold, and then you have to wait, and then
go
you don't.
past the scores and all of the goals in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The other teams.
I did figure out how to turn off the scores, so you could start it delayed theoretically.
That's good.
We did.
Okay,
it, guys.
so and then just because I'm curious, Red Bull Arena is in New Jersey. You're in New Jersey. What is the fan base made up of, and how do you interact with other groups and that kind of thing? And I don't know. I also am curious about how the New York City FC dynamic plays into all of that, and when they spun up.
What I find interesting about that dynamic is that, I mean, there's fans in New Jersey, there's fans in sort of that southern New York state kind of area, that whole tri-state area of Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey for both teams. But there seems to be a very strong distaste for the location of Red Bull Arena and Red Bull's fans from NYC.
Sure.
As a New Jersey team. I think everyone around the league, or every supporters group around the league, has at some point, referenced RBNJ. I kind of take it in stride. It's fine. The stadium's beautiful, and I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I think once the blue team set up shop, for a little while, it felt like I'll call it a rivalry at that point. It felt a little bit forced, it felt like the league was kind of like spoon feeding this, local rival to us when we were plenty happy with DC United, and that was a good time. I think it's grown
opposite.
Yeah.
We were just talking about on our pod, like they spoon fed us. We're like, your rival's Toronto, and we're like in Canada? Okay.
We're going to circling the map. We got to figure something out.
Yeah. So I get it.
But I think it's grown pretty well over the last couple of seasons, and especially when you've got New York winning an MLS Cup, that puts a bee in your bonnet. And I think that they've become emboldened by that, but there's still a strong Red Bull presence in and around the area.
Good.
Nice.
I have a question. Would you ever, because there's nothing wrong with Jersey, why don't you just call yourself like the New Jersey Red Bulls or the Jersey Red Bulls or something like that?
I mean, I can understand from a marketing perspective of, New York has a stronger appeal than calling yourself New Jersey. But, I also don't think it's that unique for the Red Bulls. I mean, you've got the Giants and Jets play in New Jersey.
Right.
And, yeah. I mean, you did have the Nets for a little while. They embraced New Jersey, but they quickly got the hell out of there.
Yeah. Well, there's like land to play over there. You're not like on top of each other. So
yeah, that's like also true.
You're not in a baseball stadium, so
yes, building a stadium was key to this, and it was much harder to do in New York.
Was
Obviously, they're only just getting that now. Yeah, 2010 it opened, but they've been talking about building something for almost a whole decade before that. Promises of all these different things and so many different renderings.
Yeah. Well, so this season, how do you feel about the team so far? It seems like there haven't been a ton of changes from last year. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but what's your reaction to the first couple games?
I think the through line from last season is still there. The wrinkles that have been added are they're running out in a new formation. Gone is the lone striker setup with the wingers sort of in that almost a 4-3-3 that they've been playing for the last couple seasons. They're going with a 2-forward approach and having sort of a deeper lying central midfield. So far, the return in terms of defense has been phenomenal. They've been great. They have given up a goal, but the kind of a soft penalty with the handball in Orlando.
We understand that too.
Week one handballs,
Week one handballs. It's been a little bit tough on the other end of the field. I think we're still, as Red Bull fans, we're a little bit in a hand-wringing mindset right now, and in terms of them struggling to create really clear-cut scoring chances, even with the added forward. Now, the good news is the other wrinkle that has come in this year is they decided to spend some money on a starting caliber forward.
They got Burke.
They got Burke, who coming. I mean, I don't see him necessarily as a starter. Short term, maybe that happens at some point in the season. But having someone who can come off the bench and provide, a little physicality and the ability to hold the ball up is really good for them.
I like that guy.
Dante Van Zier, who's come in as their DP striker, he was top 5 scorer in the Belgium league for the second place team. Early returns on him are still kind of up in the air because we only really saw him for about 15 minutes at the end of the game this past weekend. But his skill set is something that the Red Bulls have really been lacking over the last couple of seasons, and that is having a stronger idea of movement in the attack and having the movement create the chances rather than just precision passing to feet. Too many times over the last couple of seasons, we've just seen aimless crosses or just long balls to whatever striker is up top, and you can get away with that against some teams. I think a lot of teams have figured out the Red Bulls and the idea of holding a low block against them kind of handcuffs their attack quite a bit. And so the idea with Van Zier is that he's a guy who can help start to break those things up, but we just haven't really seen it yet.
Yeah, we should probably preface this as we're recording this prior to your game against Minnesota. So you only played 2 games.
Yeah, it's just the 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, if people are listening, like, they haven't scored a goal, they put 4 past Minnesota, and it's like,
oh, right.
I love that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, is it still the same Red Bull? Because it looks like you guys are running like a 4-4-2. Is that still the high pressing, high intensity Red Bull?
Yeah.
Like that style of system?
Yeah, I don't think that system is really going to go anywhere. I think the idea behind what they're doing now, so because they've got the 2 forwards, You have less bodies in the midfield, so maybe the idea is to create a little bit more space to be able to move through that. I think having the third central midfielder in there can be good in terms of kind of pressing and closing things down in the middle. And the idea is that if you want to be able to do more than just press and counter, you've got to open up some space in there. And so having those two guys kind of pivot around each other has done that a little bit. I think that moving to a 4-man back line has increased sort of the responsibility of the central defenders, because now you've got a lot of the width from the team coming from those wing backs. And so it's a little bit riskier, maybe is the right word, in terms of how they're running it. But the same ideas are there. The pressing triggers are all still there. And it's very much about kind of forcing teams into uncomfortable choices and trying to capitalize on the mistakes made then.
I don't know how far ahead you're looking and if you have thoughts on this, but have you seen any of the crews play this season, and do you have any expectation that the Red Bull would make any special changes or set up accommodations for handling how the crew are playing this season?
I don't think so. I think with not that Gerhard Struber is the head coach of the Red Bulls is unwilling to sort of add these tactical wrinkles into his game day situation, but we haven't seen that much. And I think one of the things the Red Bulls have tried to be clear about over the last couple seasons is to exert themselves on the game rather than kind of mold and change based on the opponent. And I expect that that's going to be the same thing here. Hopefully at that point, Van Zier is starting these games and getting a good 60-minute run out to really see what he's up to.
Is there a reason why he was a late ad? Is it injury? Is it getting acclimated? What?
No, I think visa took a little bit of time to get approved, and then it's just getting up to speed with the team. So he pretty much missed all of preseason. He only got here just before the first game, so it's really just getting him up to speed.
Yep,
got it. Is he young?
Yeah,
is he younger?
I think he's 24.
Yeah, I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just clicking through the entire starting lineup against Nashville, and it's like the oldest person on the field is 27, and there's like two 26-year-olds, and then it's all like 21, 20, so it's a young team.
Yeah, they're remarkably young, and I think it's weird because maybe it's just the lack of success that they've experienced so far going so young. But you look at a team like the Red Bulls, you look at a team like Philadelphia, they have a similar makeup for the most part.
Yeah.
But with, I think Philly's got a couple more veterans in there. But they don't really get spoken about in the same kind of way the Red Bulls do in terms of keeping the team young and being a little bit more fiscally responsible with how they're spending money throughout the lineup.
Yeah, they don't say that, but I've always thought that, especially like looking at the team. And I guess you haven't had big names like Aronson and like the Dallas Academy guys move through the ranks. But it seems like, especially in the Red Bull system, it seems like it's, all right, we start out at, NYRB. We started in New York, and then we go to Salzburg, and then we go to, hopefully Leipzig. And that's kind of the general thing. I think the coach, Stuber, wasn't he at Salzburg at one point?
Stuber was at Salzburg at one point. He was the Liefering coach as well. I mean, maybe he wasn't at Salzburg. If he was, I don't know if he was the head coach there. I could be wrong about that.
Looks like U19.
Yeah, there you go. But we also haven't really seen too much of that pipeline yet. And I know that Mothership is very interested in developing that. A guy like Tyler Adams, Caden Clark, these are guys that they want to start kind of like moving through, and they want to produce more players like that. And a big part of that comes from having the proper academy set up. And there was a 2 or 3 year period where that was kind of rudderless. there was a lot of friction in terms of who was running the academy and the upper brass. That's been settled now. You could see it with the New York Red Bulls 2 team that they're doing a little bit better of a job bringing through those younger guys and kind of hoping to push them into that next level and maybe get them ready for MLS. So there's a lot more of that, and I think there's a better product coming out of that, but it's just taking some time to reach the MLS level.
Yeah. Some teams are doing better than others, but I think most people are learning to adopt that, especially as you're moving people. And we've spoken about it before, where if you sell people on, you get the money, that trickle down kind of deal. Now that they kind of set that up because of that, DeAndre Yedlin first sale, that he got a lot of money from Tottenham. So like people are like, well, where's my money? I developed this guy, and it's like, all right, yeah, sweet. Like, it makes sense. I get it, but it benefits people to actually, move on. So you don't think there's going to be any changes to how you play? I mean, that's kind of the Red Bull thing. They live and die by
definitely their way. They live and die by that press, and that's true across all of the Red Bull teams globally. I think you watch them play, and you are very clear on the style they're going to play. The teams that are successful against them all kind of have the same sort of makeup. So it's definitely going to be interesting. What do you think Columbus might do to maybe change things up against the Red Bulls?
I firmly believe that we're still trying to figure out not our identity. I think Nancy, because we have the new coach. I don't know how much you followed the crew, but he's come in and completely flipped us on our head. So he's playing a 3 in the back. It's not usually when you have 3 in the back, you have wing back. Sometimes you sit deep. Like, he is extremely forward moving. The games are a lot of fun to watch, but
forward and fast.
Yeah, forward and
also
fast.
Also a high press.
Yeah.
High press, high line.
And so the thing that I saw against Philly that DC didn't do was they didn't press our 3 in the back. So it seems like he's allowing our 3 center backs who aren't that great with the ball to progress the ball and try to get those line splitting passes. Like, he's giving them free range to move up into the midfield, and it playing the Red Bulls it terrifies me, because I'm worried they're going to press them, and then they're going to be like, oh no, and then we're going to kick it deep. And the problem with our forwards is we have Cucho, who's like tiny, Zelarayan, who doesn't really win in the air, and then the guy you probably haven't heard of, Matan, who's doing awesome, he's like 4'11". So like, I don't know.
It's not you.
No, he's not that bad.
So Joe, I want to put you on the spot, and it sounds like you're confident that there aren't going to be a ton of changes between now and game day here in 10, 11 days. So
definitely jinxing myself.
Well, yes. I want you to put it on the line and give us a score prediction so we can stack you up against we do it every week too, and no one has gotten it right yet. So
the joke on my show right now, the joke on my show right now is that I keep just saying 1-1 draws. So I'll be bold in this moment, and if the center backs are progressing the ball, and if Dante Vanzier is starting, I'll say it's a 2-1 win for the Red Bulls.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember this for my show too. So
yeah, I think there's an interesting fact. Before we started, Haas was saying that you guys, there hasn't been a shot on your goal yet.
In run of play.
In the run of play.
One. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The PK.
Yeah, PK.
Yeah.
They've done really well. Losing Aaron Long was a big deal, I think, for a lot of people. He was, such a rock in the back for so long.
Yeah.
But Sean Nealis has matured really well. And Andreas Reyes, as long as he can stay healthy, is a dominant force back there. So I'm very confident with those center backs. The depth after that.
Is Nealis his brother on the team?
He is on the team. He was with Nashville, somebody else at one point. And it's been fun watching them kind of like goof around together. There's been a couple of games where they've started. His brother Dylan is not maybe as talented or imposing a force, but he brings his own skills to the table. He's done some nice things at wing back. I think it's unlikely we'll see him play against the Crew. They've got both Kyle Duncan on loan and Cameron Harper, who is not a wing back but has been playing there over the first couple of games and doing very well. So unfortunately, I don't think there will be a Neil lineup, but you never know.
Yeah, I was going to ask what the plural was. Is it Neelis?
Yeah.
Is it Neelis?
The brothers Neil.
Yeah. The last question I have before I let you go.
Okay, go ahead, Ben.
So the jury's out on John Tolkien.
Yes. Wait, what? Why?
His hair.
Oh, I mean, have you seen what's happening up here?
Yeah, you are a beautiful man. You are an absolute specimen. Yeah, like I'm going bald.
For the listeners, I'm not seeing an abundance of frosted tips.
That's fair. That's fair.
Or more like proper mullet, like
right.
Oh well, I mean, it gets a little crazy back here.
I love it. Yeah, but you could do the devil hawk, like the devil. You know what I mean?
You
like
can see on my Twitter profile, like it like shrinks in the middle.
Yeah, I told you
that's
that.
Just me getting old or something worse, but
well, that's why I told you I hit you up. I was like going through the people and I saw your picture. I was like, that guy.
There we go. It worked. That's why I did it, you guys. It was all for this moment.
We're actually a hair podcast.
John Tolkien's hair is crazy. His fashion is crazy, but
do you like him?
I love him. I think he's great.
Okay.
I think like what I like about him is he really gives no F's whatsoever. He's
true.
just is who he is. He's like, there was a thing during preseason where he came in this like hideous yellow tracksuit, sweatsuit kind of a thing. And he was like, oh yeah, this is just my girlfriend's. I'm just wearing it. And that to me is phenomenal. Love that guy. He's great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if he was like a Breck Shea where it's like, yeah, he has a mullet and he does that stuff, but he's also a turd and no one really likes him.
No, he's a really good guy. From what I can tell, you know, I'm not in the locker room day in, day out, but he seems to have a really strong kinship with everyone in the team.
Okay, I'll bring in John then because he's nice. Come on, Johnny.
All right, Joe, thanks for jumping on here with us. Before we let you go, just do a quick rundown of how folks can hear you and reach you online, that kind of thing, and then we'll get you out of here.
Oh, man, I got to make sure I got the Seeing Red website the right way because they changed it on me.
Also, if there's a YouTube, it's a youtube.com/ and then the @ symbol. We just learned that's a silly beans thing they've done.
Okay.
All right. Where's my profile? Okay. I don't have it on here. All right. This is no good.
So is Seeing Red the Hoobastank song?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
SeeingRedPod.com is where you can find the podcast or any of your podcast aggregators that you guys use. You can find me online, although I hardly ever post, at _ Joe Goldstein. And yeah, I mean, that's it. I stay out of the limelight. Once I stopped writing and stopped editing Red Bull News Network, I was backed very far away from social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
That's probably
it seems like you're grounded, so yeah, it makes more sense.
It was good for my head for sure.
Yeah. Seeing less red. All right, Joe. Thanks a lot. And
awesome.
We'll see you here in about a week and a half.
Yeah,
thanks for having
Joe.
me on, and hopefully talk to you again later this season.
Very good.
Yeah, thanks,
See
Joe.
you.
See you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining the club. We hope you'll listen next week and every week, even in the off season, to celebrate or commiserate. We'll save you a seat. If you like this podcast, please give us 5 stars and subscribe. You can email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. That's upper90clubpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upper90clubpod. Go Crew!